Yeah, so we're GreenFire Energy. We've been in business for almost 10 years. I'm the president as of 7-8 months ago. We have a few different technologies that we're looking at as far as how apply these in the next generation geothermal space. So no surprise, US is the leader in geothermal energy. But the development of these projects has slowed over the past decade. So with the advancements of new oil and gas technologies that have been applied over this past several decades, we're taking these same technologies and how can we go develop new geothermal projects in other parts of the country. And we're also looking at some Department of Defense projects where we can actually build geothermal and power these bases. And that's all about American energy dominance and the reliability they can count on for geothermal energy. Yeah, well, everyone says, hey, my aunt or uncle has geothermal in their house. And I say, well, we're looking at the next kind of scale of geothermal, and it's how do we take the heat out of the earth and develop and turn that into electrons that can power a large infrastructure. And we're all talking about how does this power AI and data centers. So what we're doing is really just taking the heat out of the rock, flowing fluid through it in different ways, and then taking that to the surface, and that's where we can generate power, really just using the heat to generate power. And because the earth is always on, the heat's always there, it's a 24/7 baseload renewable. So a lot different than the other renewables out there. A lot of people just think wind and solar, but this is an opportunity where we can tap inside the earth and take the heat out and generate new, renewable electricity at base load. Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, everyone's talking about it. Everyone's talking about how can we go behind the meter, co-located with data centers. I mentioned the military bases. So what's unique is there's a lot of these different technologies, and how do we actually understand the subsurface? Much like oil and gas, you have the oil sands of Canada, you have the Bakken, you have the Haynesville, you have old conventional fields. They all use different types of technologies to get the hydrocarbons out. So what we're doing is, how do we understand the subsurface? How do we match technology to the geology, get the heat out, and then we can do this in different geographic areas. So a lot of the areas we're focusing is Western US, Nevada, Utah, California, where we have really high temperature gradients. And if we can understand where these resources are best to develop, we can start to co-locate geothermal with the data center. So it's a huge opportunity, but we need to know the resource a little bit better and how to apply these technologies. Geothermal is getting a lot of attention right now, and we're excited for that. It's got attention, it's really bipartisan. It's not this administration or the last administration. So geothermal's definitely been at the forefront as far as part of the energy mix. I think it's getting a little bit more amplified in what it can do as people understand its baseload nature. So we're excited where we think it's going in the future. It's a great time for us to be in this and testing our technologies and applying it. So we're really excited. Yeah, so if you think about the geothermal market today, it's supplying only less than 1% of the electricity in the United States, which is about 3,000 megawatts, 3 gigawatts. So not a lot of energy when you start to think about each data center needs a gigawatt. So I like to think realistically, geothermal is part of the equation with other energies like natural gas or the nuclear reactors, and how you can build an energy park with the data centers themselves. So I think what keeps me up is how can we scale this very, very quickly. It's if you look at how the shale industry took off, there's no doubt we can actually do that, but it's getting these projects in the ground very, very quickly. How do we start to iterate quickly? How do we start to do the next generation of these designs? And so scalability, I think, is the big thing that that keeps me thinking a lot, and how do we do this better and faster and cheaper to make it, you know, more affordable too for our end customer. Yeah. So I grew up in South Dakota, so friendly neighbor. Like you said, went to University of North Dakota, got my bachelor's and master's there. Where I grew up in South Dakota, it's not an energy-rich state, and going to North Dakota, that's where my love of energy became, you know, with the Bakken taking off. I actually got into geology and into geothermal, and thinking about this huge, massive resource, little to know that the Bakken was also a massive resource that had an end market. I think what we're seeing now is the end market maturing too on the power generation side, and how geothermal is definitely a fit. So definitely excited in how you can take this technology, how you can leverage the existing infrastructure, how you can tie it in with natural gas. So it's a great complement for the state, uses the same sort of resources as far as the people, drilling wells, building plants. So great opportunity just on skill sets, the people, the end uses. You know, it's great for the state and great for America. Yeah, it's exciting to be here. Been a part of this kind of building and downtown structure for almost a decade now, and just seeing how the Hamm Institute is bringing these leaders together. Just tremendous to be here today and hear about the topics and what energy does for our country and around the world, and how we're all thinking about it and how we do more and do it better, and really just do it together. So it's exciting to be here, and it's exciting.